Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about my insanely ambitious summer TBR. I have a stack in front of me. We're going to break it down into what's on my physical TBR, any rereads that I have, and then anticipated new releases. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into this video. All right, let's start off with the rereads I want to do this summer. Most of them are none other than our queen, Emily Henry. So I want to reread 3 of her books. The first one being Beach Read. This is my favorite Emily Henry book ever to exist, and I was like, it's time that we revisit her. One thing that I love the most about this book is 1, Gus Everett. I mean, come on. 2, I love that both of them are writing books and they switch genres and they decide to kind of take each other on dates so they get more experience in writing that genre. I love this book so much, so much. And if you haven't read this one, I highly recommend it. But this is on my top priority for reading books this summer. Next one is Happy Place. And this book was like a punch to the gut. She was beautiful and magical. And the way that Emily Henry wrote, like, figuring out friendships after you graduate college, I really strongly felt that because as someone who is, you know, way away from their friends that they went to college with and is trying to figure out, 1, how to make friends, 2, how to maintain those friendships, this book is so bittersweet, and I love the romance in here as well. It's like a second chance romance and it's truly beautiful, and I want to spend a summer in Maine. Anyone else? Then the next book and the last reread for Emily Henry is People We Meet on Vacation. This was my first Emily Henry book and I really loved it. I feel like this one people don't love. It's always at the bottom of their list, but honestly I like this one over Book Lovers. But I think it's so cute. It's a kind of a second chance romance. They're best friends. They used to go on vacations all the time together. Something happens and then they're like, oh, let's go on one more vacation together. I think it's so sweet, so cute, and I love Friends to Lovers. So I don't know why people don't love this one. And my last reread is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I love Carly Fortune's writing. I think she's really great. This book kind of just gave me such nostalgic vibes. It's like a grown-up version of The Summer I Turned Pretty, and I think that's why I loved it so much. And I really want to revisit it because I gave it like a 6 stars 2 years ago, and I'm excited to get back into it and see if I still have the same thoughts about it. If anything, it will definitely bring that nostalgic summer vibe for me. Let's talk about all of the books that are on my TBR that I have yet to explore. The first one I'm looking at is 7 Days in June. I wanted to read this last year because simply, like, it's 7 days in June. I have to read it in June. And it's about 2 authors who spent 7 days with each other 15 years ago, and they come back together for a writing event, and they kind of are reliving that romance 15 years later and seeing if that spark is still there. And I've heard a lot of rave reviews about this. It's more of a deeper romance, and as much as I love fun, cute, silly little rom-coms in the summer, I definitely love a book that can put me in my feels and make me feel so much more than just like kicking and giggling my feet. So this is definitely one that's high up on my list. Next up on my list is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I have never read an Ashley Poston book, but she puts a lot of magical realism into her novels, and that is something that just sounds so fun to me. This book has been going around BookTube, Book Instagram, heard nothing but great things about this, and it is about our main girl, Clementine. Her aunt dies, and they were super close. Her aunt ends up leaving her apartment, but whenever she goes into the apartment, it takes her 7 years in the past. And there's actually a different guy living there, but like it's 7 years ago. And something about that, like, I'm like, I don't quite comprehend it. I'm sure I'll understand more when I read the book, but I think it's a very interesting premise, something that I've never read before, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone says about this book. Next is none other than my girl Allie Hazelwood. I don't know why I haven't picked this book up yet. Everyone says this is their favorite by Allie Hazelwood. It's another one of her STEM novels. They talk about how this guy is their favorite of all the men in her like little STEM universe. So I'm really excited to see what this one is all about. All I know is that I think that it's rival physicists, they collide going for the same job, I believe, and there's fake dating. One thing about me, I will eat a fake dating trope every time, especially if it's my girl Allie Hazelwood. So I'm looking forward to picking this one up too. Next is a book that I've kind of had this on my radar for a while because I know about the show on Netflix, and I love to read a book, watch the show, compare, contrast. That's one of my favorite things. And then Sarah Caroli was talking about it, and I was like, you know what? If my girl Sarah's talking about it, then I definitely have to pick this up. This is Heartstopper by Alice Osman, is that how you say it? But it is a graphic novel, I think. Like, it just looks so cute, so fun, something that would be really easy to read at the pool, like a nice palate cleanser for the middle of the summer. And it is about two boys who go to a private school. One of them is openly gay, the other is not. One of them is a jock, one of them's more shy to himself, and they form this friendship, but obviously I think things, you know, escalate a little bit, and I need a cute little book like this. So I'm excited to read this. I feel like it will be so fast paced, and then I'm gonna want to just like buy all of them and binge them, and something about that makes me so excited. So this is something that honestly, maybe I'll start it today. Maybe I'll start it today. Next book I have on my list is Joyland by Stephen King. This book screams summer to me. I've had kind of not a back and forth with Stephen King. I read one of his books, I was like, oh, maybe he's not for me, and I've been too scared to pick up a book by him ever since. But my uncle gave me this book, and he said it's an easier book to get into Stephen King. So it's about this guy who ends up taking a job at a carnival for the summer to kind of get his mind off the girl that broke up with him, but there happens to be a murder. And when I think of a carnival, a little fair, I think of the summer. Because every year when I was growing up, the mark of like summer starting was a fair we had during June, and I was like, this has to be a summer book, right? So I'm excited to see that, get a little bit of a mystery thriller, but also like have those summer 4th of July vibes. I don't know. That's what it's giving, and I'm excited for it. Our next book is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I still have never read a book by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I want to start off with The Inheritance Games because this is the first book I ever heard about like this author, and something about a YA little mystery like fun book like this just is so enticing to me. So this is about Avery, and a billionaire ends up passing away, and he ends up giving all of her inheritance to her, and the family that he has, like I believe it's his nephews, I could be wrong, but they have no idea who this girl is, and they're like, why did he pick her to get all the inheritance? So she comes to this mansion, and there's a lot of puzzles, different games that they have to solve, and I think that's so fun. Like, that just sounds like a fun like little movie, and I'm excited to get into this series because we also love a brother like triangle. The next series I want to get into is the Addicted to You series. This is the first book, Addicted to You. This book follows Lily and Lauren Hale. I've heard those names a lot, and Lily is a little bit addicted to the spice, and Lauren Hale is addicted to drinking, and I believe that they kind of come together and they form this relationship, and I think they overcome their issues together. And I've heard nothing but good things about this, and I know there's 10 books, but so many people talk about this series. I'm like, I gotta know what it's all about. So I want to start this summer as well. We are back talking about my queen, Emily Henry. This is her most recent release, Funny Story. I am so afraid to read this because I'm like, what if it doesn't live up to the hype? What if like it lets me down? But also, what if I'm obsessed and I don't know when she's releasing another book? This is the struggle I face with all the time. That's why I didn't read Happy Place for the longest time last year, and I'm having the same feelings about this. But this book is actually about these two on the cover. One of them is supposed to get married, but her fiance ends up leaving her for his girlfriend, and then she ends up not having a place to live. She ends up moving in with him, and they're kind of trying to figure out how to do life after both of their partners leaves them. And the concept is very interesting, and I'm excited to see how Emily Henry like does this. So yeah, let's talk about my last book. My last book on my physical TBR is one that I've had for a while, and that is Carrie Soto's Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think this book, I think I moved this higher up on my list because I saw Challengers, and I was like, yes, tennis era, let's go. I know this is about Carrie Soto. She used to be a huge tennis star, and then more recently, not as much, but she actually is getting back into the game in this book. And right now in my path of life, I need a book about a strong, empowering woman, and I think that this is definitely going to give me that. And I've loved so many books that I read by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I have a feeling that this might be a very good one for the place I am in my life. I need an inspiring woman, so I'm excited to pick this one up. I've pulled up Goodreads, and we're going to talk about my most anticipated releases. The first one on this list is The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. I love a thriller in the summer, and I definitely love Lucy Foley's books. I've listened to her books on Audible, and she's one of those authors that has different narrators for different parts in the books, so that's why I love listening to hers. And this one is about a ill-advised party at an exclusive resort built in a severely unfortunate location. So this sounds really fun, and it comes out June 18th. The next books on my list are actually horror books, and I'm not a horror book reader, but these just really intrigued me. The first one is Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. It takes place in 1993, and an infamous guerrilla filmmaker collective makes a highly disturbing art house horror movie called Horror Movie. 30 years later, scraps and rumors of the film have inspired Hollywood, and they're making a reboot, and it has some sinister fun with the old cursed movie trope. I love the premise of that because I am a horror movie girly. I love a good slasher movie. Scream is one of my favorite movies. So if you have it in a book, that sounds so fun. There's another one that's very similar. It's called I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. This is a standalone novel, and it's promoted as a summer teen movie in novel form. Slasher story with a twist set in 1989 in a small West Texas town. The tale features a 17-year-old reluctant killer and is said to explore Jones's own Texas upbringing. This comes out July 16th, but again, love a slasher movie. I think that will be so fun. Next is our romance books. Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood comes out June 11th. It's another one of her STEM novels, and again, I eat it up every single time. We have The Rom-Commers, also comes out June 11th, and this is about screenwriters who try to make a real-life rom-com, and again, I come from a movie background, so this is right up my alley. It sounds so fun. Next is another Ashley Poston book, and again, I was talking about how I loved that she did magic realism. This one is about the main character going inside of a romance novel. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? That is my dream! That is my dream! This comes out June 25th, and I will be picking that up so fast, so fast. Next one is The Pairing by Casey McQuesson. This is the same author who wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue. This one is says what happens when two bisexual exes accidentally book the same European wine tour. I have loved every single book that I've read so far by Casey McQuesson, and this intrigues me a lot. This is coming out August 6th. The last book that I, top of the list, is Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is the next book in the Maple Hills series. This is about Henry. If you've read Icebreaker, you read Wildflower, you know and you love Henry, okay? And this one I'm especially excited about because the girlie on the cover is wearing a T Swift cardigan. I love that. I love it so much. That wraps up my most ambitious summer TBR I've ever had. Thank you so much for watching. If you've read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts. If you want to see any of these books in an upcoming video, let me know as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in my next one.